Welcome back to the KickNPost podcast and YouTube channel, Teal and Steel, episode 15. We're going back to back on this one. Back to back. I don't know if you remember that song. You're not really a Drake fan like that. But episode 15. And we're going to leave the fantasy behind on this one and hop back into why it's called Teal and Steel. The two 7 and 8 teams. 7 and 8. Very different 7 and 8s.
Definitely feels a lot different.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot different. On this side, we're feeling pretty warm inside. The future seems very bright. On that side, the future does seem bright too, but there's a lot that's left to be desired with the division they're in. But let's start off with them Steeler boys. We haven't really gotten into the last few weeks and how they perform. They're still pulling out wins. And then there's losses sprinkled in between, still scoring low points.
We still the Steelers, and we'll always find a way to win some games, even when there's nothing there. Last game was against, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta?
No, y'all played somebody since then. Who
did we play last game?
Baltimore, I feel like. Or
we played Baltimore. We played Baltimore this week.
Who was it? Browns? Y'all played somebody since Atlanta. And won. Because it was on a George Pickens' last second touchdown.
And I watched the game too.
Yeah.
Was it the Colts?
Nah. Maybe.
Oh, it was Las Vegas. That's right.
Yeah.
Las Vegas. Because I watched the game too. I forgot. Yeah, we still you find ways to win games. With Mike Tomlin and the team that we have, we'll always figure it out. As my last part of the season notes for the team, I know we have a technical chance to make the playoffs. I really don't care. I don't think we're going to really make much of a run in the playoffs. But I would really like to see us continue Tomlin's win streak, because this is like the worst it's probably going to get. I would hope that next year is going to be an improvement. Now, I can't say that for sure.
You're already calling it the worst you could get.
I would hope that this next year will be better, and if next year is even a little bit better, it's probably going to be cracking positive. So, as of right now, I would just love for Kenny. I saw that there's a question that Big Ben was asked. He has like a little podcast, and they were asking him, should they say Kenny for the rest of the year, since there technically isn't much of a purpose. No, I want to see him play. I want to see him. This was also a couple weeks ago where the playoff pictures were a little bit more an ass there.
He was hurt.
He was a little hurt. Now there's more of a chance, so kind of a little bit of a difference. But regardless, I want to see him in action. I think there's only one way to really get better as a quarterback, and that's in any position really. That's to go and do it live action. And I'm really excited to see what he can do for the rest of the year. He has a couple games left. This is a good matchup this week with the Ravens. We'll see how that comes out. It's a very winnable game, in my opinion. I think Lamar is still going to be out, so we'll see. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with where we're at, and I'm really looking forward to next year. I think this year's done, even if we make the playoffs. But
really?
Okay. Because who are we going to beat? It's the AFC. It's loaded. Who are we going to
I'd have to look at the playoff pictures.
Like Oakland has a chance to win, but I think we need Oakland to lose for us to make it in. So who else is out there?
You mean Vegas could still go?
Yeah, Vegas. Oh, that's right. I want to say Oakland.
I do that all the time too. I can't even lie.
Vegas actually still has a chance. I think
you would whoop them if y'all had to face them in there.
If we did, but I think now with us beating them,
the Ravens, I would give y'all the upper hand on them as well.
Yeah.
When
does Lamar get back though?
I don't know if they're just going to keep resting him. I feel like there's no reason to bring him back until there's a question if they'll lose the second spot in the division. Division.
So round one of the playoffs, Lamar might play.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we would beat a Lamar team. I think it's possible for sure. I don't know.
Lamar on rust seems very bad news to me. I feel like he's a guy that you need to have focused, hitting on all cylinders. You don't really get into the Lamar, he's been out for 6 weeks and now we're going to throw him back and expect him to be on point.
Well, so I don't know. Maybe I'm being kind of just move on from this year kind of thing, even though we have a chance. I just don't see us going far. We're barely beating an Oakland team. It took a game-winning touchdown to beat them. We barely beat a Falcons team. I said Oakland again. Saying that. No, let's run this shit back.
No. You're right, though. I always call him Oakland. And there's been full podcasts I talk about him, and I go back and watch them like, dang, I called him Oakland the whole time.
Well, anyways, regardless, I don't know. Even though we might have a chance, We barely beat Vegas. We barely beat Atlanta. We barely beat.
W's a W.
We barely beat the Colts. I don't even know. Did we beat the Colts?
W's a W, man.
Sure. Anyways, but tell me about your team. Your team has more of like a legitimate chance. They could be number one in their division, and their team is clicking.
Yeah.
They could actually make a playoff run if they keep. Because what do they always say? You need to go into the playoffs clicking. You need to already have it figured out going into it as like a storm. You don't want to go into the playoffs looking bad off of some bad losses, and your team is doing it the right way. What are your thoughts?
That same AFC division you're talking about being mid-conference, you're talking about being a gauntlet. That's where we'd be as well.
I just see y'all having a better chance.
Winning the division, the offense has been clicking pretty well. Outside of that Detroit game, multiple games over 20 points. Trevor's looking like the number one pick in the draft that we expected. So that's been nice. Travis Etienne's the workhorse. When he's on the field and healthy, it's been good news. Zay Jones has broken out as our wide receiver one. Christian Kirk falls back into a secondary role even when there was supposed to be no chance he would be in that role. And Evan Ingram's turned himself into an otherworldly tight end all of a sudden. So there's a lot to be excited for. Last two games are in division, Houston and Tennessee. Houston has a solid defense that will be a challenge going up against them
I
this
feel
week.
like that's definitely winnable, though.
Oh, no, it is a winnable. Both games are winnable.
You should beat Houston. I know they have a better defense, but their offense is...
I know, abysmal.
It's bad.
But our defense is horrid as well. So, like, you know, that's the decider right there. And then we play Tennessee, where Tannehill's out for the season now. So it's Malik Willis against our team trying to go to the playoffs. And if you guys can't beat Malik Willis to get into the playoffs, it's tough. Malik Willis with mediocre weapons. Yeah, you have King Henry and stuff still, but it's Malik Willis.
Is there a situation where, like, let's say Tennessee wins this week, but loses the game against y'all? Does that make them still the number one seed, or y'all already the number one seed?
We control our destiny.
So if y'all win out,
if we win out,
then y'all are good.
We're good.
What if y'all lose one?
If we lose to Tennessee and they win out, they get it. Yeah, because I think we're both.
What if you lose against like Houston but win against Tennessee?
Then we're in.
So you guys are looking pretty good.
Yeah,
so pretty much beat Tennessee.
Beat Tennessee. Okay. It's easy. Houston helped us by beating Tennessee this past week, but it's beat Tennessee and we're in.
Yep. And that's a good reminder right there. Houston being able to beat Tennessee. Tennessee's not that great of a team, but it has good coaching. There is King Henry. Its defense is on and off. That says something. So I wouldn't sleep on Houston. Houston's a team that could be. If their defense shows up and they limit y'all to like 10 points, 12 points, which I know is kind of crazy. If they do that though, and Houston just can manage just a couple touchdowns.
The thing is, they struggle on run defense. They could get gashed on the ground.
So we need a big
so
ETN day.
It needs to be a heavy dosage of ETN. But if you look at it also, our weapon group is way better than Tennessee's currently construction weapon group. So like,
I think y'all have a better roster than Tennessee.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Like as a whole, maybe some defensive spots, but other than
that's why I said their defense and of course King Henry tops us. But
and even then, like Derrick Henry is better right now. I mean, he's going up in age, and he's really limited to kind of like one role. Whereas ETN can do a couple of different things. It's kind of a niche situation. Derrick Henry's better at one thing, but ETN's better at the other thing. So kind of whatever.
Yeah, but I'll take us against Houston, and honestly, I'll take us winning out. We might end 9-8.
That's not looking bad.
That's insane. Coming off of last year, number one pick to 9-8, winner of the division, and possibly a little playoff noise, make a little playoff noise. I think whoever we play in that first round, we could definitely make some noise against. I wouldn't necessarily call us playoff contenders or anybody to look out for, but I feel like we could make some noise in the AFC.
You know what I'm really looking forward to though with y'all?
What?
Next year.
Me too.
Next year Next year has the potential, man.
I know.
It's lining up.
I know.
It's lining up.
We add another defensive piece in the first round.
Y'all offensively. I mean, maybe an O-lineman, I don't know, but other than that, I think y'all are set.
Yeah, I think I was always one where I would like us to snag like a second round, maybe another wide receiver talent that slips or something, you know.
I mean, we talked about, an A.T. Perry.
Yeah, I would like somebody
later
like
in the rounds, just take him and see what happens.
Yeah. But
for sure.
First round now, I feel like we should either be invested in O-lineman, like you said, or D-line again, or add another corner to be on the opposite side. We've gotten good play on one end. The other end, we've been getting burned. Shaquille Griffin has been a bad purchase, and I feel like if we could slowly phase him out, it would be good.
I feel like for y'all, the best available defensive player first round is the best move for y'all.
Yeah.
Whatever's the best guy on the field that can make the most noise, most plays. Because I think that's what y'all need is some playmakers out there. So whoever it is, to take that guy. And then I wouldn't hate like a second round O lineman. Just take whoever you like there.
I want to give credit to the GM because the draft they constructed this year was good. We trade back into the first round. We get a Devin Lloyd, who he has been a revelation for that defense at the linebacker position. He has been probably one of our best defensive players this year. Just smart, really good captaining the defense. And it's not something we usually do. We don't usually use our assets to get back into the first round. But I was excited about that move. I was very excited about the move, and it's showing its dividends. So hopefully we could keep on building on that. As a Jags fan, it's kind of wild that I didn't realize this, but our current GM was the past GM for, I think, the Eagles.
When was that, though?
Like 2 or 3 years ago, or something like that.
When they won the Super Bowl?
Yeah. It was something like that. It's either them or the Chiefs. Because I was like, listen,
either one is not
yeah, like, sheesh, okay, that was a good hire. Shouts out to you, Shah Khan. You don't really make good hires like that. And then, of course, Doug Peterson has been a revelation for Trevor. So I'm excited about the future.
Yeah, next year I think is going to be a year.
We should run it back.
Y'all are locked in that division, and I think if y'all get to 9-8, I could realistically see y'all do more of like an 11-5. Like I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see it.
Like this year, right now, I would consider us pretenders if we make it to the end of if we make it to the playoffs, which we should. Next year could be a real contending year.
I don't even think y'all are pretenders this year. I think y'all have enough assets to really make us. I wouldn't say make a statement, but make it difficult for a team if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
So, if you're having to play against Jacksonville first round of the playoffs, that is not an easy win, and do not expect it to be an easy win. That's gonna be you better show up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I do feel there are some teams who are going to be making it into the playoffs that are pretenders and aren't really like built for a long playoff run. To get shaken, let's start off with the NFC.
Okay.
What's a team that's either leading their division or potential division winners or just right now look like they're locked into a playoff spot that doesn't give you any reason to pause? You're just like, all right, they're probably going to get eliminated first round.
Well, first round, I'd have to think about it.
Even if they get a bye, they'll probably get eliminated whenever they play.
The first thing I think of is the Vikings. Now, the Vikings are and I texted you, sometimes they look like they're the best team, and sometimes they just look like straight trash. And if they don't show up, and what was the game they played when they had the best comeback against the Colts?
Yeah,
the fact that it even got that
points.
bad.
Yeah.
The fact that it even got that
with
bad.
With no JT and...
Exactly. Yeah. So that to me is already like, what is going on? You know, that's showing that you guys just didn't show up the first half. And then the second half was what it should have been. Y'all just kind of destroying the Colts. So that's the first team I think of. They could really make a decent push, but I get nervous about them. And I could definitely see them going into it, losing first game, and they're out. I can definitely see it. Other than that, I mean, I think everybody else has a legitimate chance. I mean, you have the Eagles. I'm sold on them.
Contenders. Yeah.
Cowboys, I think they're contenders. I think San Francisco's contenders. Who else is the leader of the division?
Anybody in the NFC South?
Who's in there?
Tampa.
Oh, I'm out of all of them. Now,
Carolina.
I'm out of all of them, but I will say
Atlanta.
Tom Brady. If you face Tom Brady in the playoffs,
New Orleans.
Show up. The same thing with Jacksonville. I don't think they're going to go very far, but you better show up because
TB12.
You better show up because if you show up thinking that you're going to have an easy win, you're going to give Tom Brady a free easy win first round in the playoffs. So, but no, other than that, I don't really believe in any of them. Who else are we talking about?
Seattle.
No, Pretenders.
7-7. Man. I had them boys winning one game. I will not make the mistake of roasting them again.
Pretenders.
Okay.
I think they're. I'm not even really sold on Geno Smith, to be honest with
you. He's doing more than I thought he would do. I thought Drew Lock was going to win the starting job, and that's why I had them winning one game. But
he's looked good, but I'm not sold on him for the future just yet. But he's done a lot of great things this year. Other than that, am I missing anybody?
I'm looking at all the second place teams in the divisions
Because they got Cowboys.
Green Bay could still technically sneak in, possibly.
I mean, same thing with Tom Brady with Aaron Rodgers. If you don't show up, he can make things very difficult for you. But I'm not worried about them winning the Super Bowl.
Dallas, you said, yeah?
Yeah, I think they're contenders.
How about Washington or the Giants? Both those teams could make it. The entire NFC East could go.
Pretenders.
Really? Mm-hmm. You don't like the Giants at all?
I don't like either one. Who's their quarterback? There you go. Who's the quarterback for Commanders? There we go.
It's Heineke or Wentz.
Heineke or Wentz. And if Heineke, I think I like Heineke more than Wentz, but I don't like Heineke that much. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's a little easy for me. I think that the majority of the teams are in. There's some niche teams in there that I'm not really into. The Vikings are the ones to me that I could really see them being a realistic pretender. But we'll see. We'll see. What about you?
I kind of echo the same sentiment. I love the Niners. I love the Eagles. I love the Cowboys. I think everybody else is kind of like drawing blanks, though. I think those are the big three. And the ones I trust the most in the big three are the Niners. And unfortunately, with the Jalen Hurts injury.
But he's supposed to be good to go playoffs.
He should be, but I don't know if it's should be good to go, and now he's limited on his throwing ability. And we're having to deal with half of Jalen Hurts.
I'm not worried about it. He's a baller, man. He'll make it work. Even at 75%, he'll be there. He'll be ready.
Yeah, I like the Eagles more with Jalen Hurts healthy. I just don't trust the Cowboys in the playoffs yet. But their defense has been playing rowdy, and like I said, this is one of the few years where I haven't heard it's our year. You know, we're up next. It's our year. They've been kind of under the radar as Cowboys. I know you said in the past you watch Undisputed, Skip Bayless. There's no way they're under the radar, but social media wise, I have seen a lot less "It's our year" from the Cowboys fans. I feel like them going under the radar is good for them. But I like the Niners.
You think the Niners can win it all with Brock Purdy?
Yes. I think the Niners' defense and their
when
offensive
does Debo
scheming.
get back?
I don't know.
You don't care either way?
I think they made the move for CMC for a reason, and it's paying dividends. Like they're never out of an option on offense, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They always have somebody open at all times with the way they scheme. And CMC's been a revelation for them. And they usually say they don't really pay for running backs, but you're paying for a weapon, not really a running back in that case. And every time I watch it on TV, I'm like, just looks so good. The whole scheme just looks so good. CMC just does whatever he wants, whenever. And Brock Purdy's safe with the ball. And he plays in the system very well. You know, he's unlike you with this mic arm that you're very not safe with.
How many times I gotta do this?
You've broken it. You might as well just grab the mic off the arm. Ain't no pause. I'm letting it ride.
Honestly, brother.
Yeah, just take it. I am letting it ride.
Can't let this ride, man.
Yes.
Let's let this thing.
I'm letting it ride. This is hilarious.
It's better getting cut out.
It's not getting cut out. But yeah, Brock Purdy playing in the system. I like it. So right now, for me, NFC champion, I got the Niners.
So you're saying the Niners are going to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. I have the Eagles.
Okay.
I have the Eagles.
So we have our Super Bowl pick on the NFC side.
Yeah, I think it's the Eagles. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is a baller. 75%.
You're good with that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And they're healthy because what you're talking about the scheming with San Francisco, in my opinion, is even better in Philadelphia. Yeah. And they have even more weapons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I like Miles Sanders as a running back. Love A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts. What else could you ask for?
You're right. You're right. I don't know. Something about the Niners just feels good.
You feel good about it?
It feels good. It feels warm and fuzzy inside. I feel like
warm and fuzzy about the Eagles.
Yeah. So we hop right into the AFC then. Who's knocking off Cincy? Because that's who won last year. Who's knocking off Cincy? Who are the contenders and pretenders in this one?
Well, actually, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm gonna wait. But
what do you mean you don't want to spoil anything?
I actually have.
Cincy going back.
I think I have Cincy going back.
Everybody's saying that.
I mean, it's tough to say because
they're getting hot.
They're getting hot at the right time, and it's just like what I said about you guys. If whoever gets in at the right time and who's hot going into it is going to go the farthest. I just don't see. I mean, but it's tough though. It's the AFC. You can't forget about Kansas City. Can't forget about Buffalo. I can tell you right now, a pretender in my mind, and that's Miami, in my opinion. I think they have a lot of weapons, but with the Tua situation, it's going to bring some extra things that people don't want to talk about to that team. And I think because of that, there's going to be too many distractions. Tua may not even be available. I think Teddy B is an okay backup. You think he's trash. So
I think he's done.
the fact that we're even having that conversation tells me that Miami is probably a pretender at this point. And it sucks to say that because I think with a healthy Tua,
they're not. With a healthy Tua, they're
not a pretender. I think they're going to compete, and I think they would show up to the games, and it would be a very fun game to watch. But with the current situation, I'm out on them. I think Baltimore is another pretender, depending on Lamar's situation. I'm even
honestly with Lamar.
I'm getting a little nervous about it too because with Mark Andrews not really playing very well, even with Lamar on the field.
There's one reason for me to have solace in them when it comes to like them still being contenders. We're yet to see healthy Dobbins or 50 to 65% Dobbins with Lamar and Mark Andrews on the field. Like, we're yet to see the running back with burst, which we talked about coming into the year. The reason why Baltimore struggled last year. If you don't have a running back that could threaten you coming behind that offensive line, it limits the way that Lamar can play the game, and it limits the way that their offense can run. And we had to deal with that again with Kenyon Drake and who was the other player? Justice Hill,
and then they had like a Mike Davis in there that didn't work out.
Dobbins was supposed to be the guy, and you've seen Dobbins come, even with him not looking 100%, show that burst and threaten the defense. We're yet to see him, Lamar, and Mark Andrews be on the field. Shoddy B's out for the year. He was also supposed to be a part of the equation. It hasn't pieced together. Rashad Bateman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Shoddy B.
Yeah, he goes by Shoddy B. But as currently constructed and with low playtime, I do have them as not
being able to figure it out.
Right now. Yeah, and I have obviously the Bengals as contenders, Bills as contenders, Kansas City as contenders. I don't really have them as pretenders.
I think like the Patriots have a shot. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're pretenders.
Huge pretenders.
I think that
honestly, the AFC East was the division. If we made this video 4 weeks ago, I have all those teams as like serious contenders. Now they're all on the pretender side for me. Just like Tua's health, Patriots offense is still something that I'm not 100% sold on. And then the Jets don't have a quarterback. I mean, Mike White's cool. That defense is solid.
I think
Mike White leading them, they will have a chance to like.
That's what I was about to say. I think that they could do something with Mike White on the field. I don't think they'd go far, but I do think they could compete, and they would make it interesting.
Yeah, so that makes them less pretenders, but still not contenders.
Yeah.
They're just tenders.
They're just in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
I think, and then I don't think the Browns have a chance. I think they do have a chance technically, but it's either the Pittsburgh or the Browns make it in. Either one of them, in my eyes, I love my Steelers, but
they don't have either of us. So
I think we're pretenders. Then there's the
Chargers.
I was supposed to say the Chargers. I think they're
getting hot at the right time, too. They're getting healthy at the right time as well.
They are, but I just don't have a good feeling about them. Do you have the same feeling? I just have something's in me is saying, like, not yet. Maybe next year, but
the
not
game
yet.
Against the Colts yesterday was also eye-opening. They didn't play their best.
They didn't. The scoreboard looks like they did okay. I think it was like 20-3,
but it was ugly for the entire first half. And that's with multiple Nick Foles turnovers, very short plays. Well, not plays. Very short time of possession from the Colts and a lot of that game. No JT. Yeah, and it was ugly.
And it wasn't great. I mean, Justin Herbert didn't even throw a single touchdown against that type of team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, even though you're right, they're kind of getting high going into the playoffs. In my opinion, that's not a good win. I think that's a win that kind of sticks with them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I'm not going to call them pretenders, but they're somewhere in the middle right now for me, and they better show something the next week for me to really kind of go off on them or take off with them. So.
And my kind of thing on the contenders and pretenders thing is if I pair you up against who I consider as contenders, and I feel like there's no question who wins the game, I got to put you kind of in that pretender slot. I think
that's where the Chargers are kind of right now. Like, against KC?
No. Against the Bills? No. Against the Bengals, I say no as well.
So,
and not even like let me think about it.
No, you know? I can pretty much confidently be like, no, I would take most of these teams.
Yeah, I'd probably put money on that team against the Chargers.
Yeah.
But good for them to make the playoffs and good for Justin Herbert to get that experience, but unfortunately, I don't think they really do much with it.
I don't think they have a shot. Like I said, they're in the middle. I think they can make it interesting. I mean, you still have Justin Herbert, which is a top 5 quarterback, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
So you can't count them out, but at the same time, I don't love it. So they do have on the offensive side people healthy now. Keenan Allen's looking like he's back to normal. Mike Wills
back to his inconsistencies as usual.
He is, but when he gets those opportunities, he does pretty well with them. Yeah. Austin Eckler, doing all good Austin Eckler things. So we'll see.
Yeah. Which leads to the question: Who makes it to the Super Bowl in the AFC?
Man, it's tough. To me, it's a toss-up between 3 teams. But
the 3 contenders.
The 3 contenders. I just like Joe Burrow going and getting it done. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I'm a big T. Higgins fan. I just like what they have going on over there. I think with KC, they're definitely contenders, and it's going to be an amazing game to watch. But we'll see. I don't know. I have kind of a feeling there, too, where I'm just like, I'm not completely sold. I think they don't have that guy at receiver right now that's kind of – I think it might hurt him a little bit. I know Travis Kelce's that guy, but besides that, Juju's nice, but if Juju's going to win the game for you, I guess if you want to believe in that, but I don't think he will. Bills are definitely a nice prospect. I think they're not a prospect, but I think they're definitely going to be contenders. But who's the wide receiver too?
For the Bills?
Yeah. Besides Stephon Diggs. Who's just on there?
Khalil Shakir?
I don't know.
Dawson Knox.
I honestly right now,
yeah.
I don't like what they have going on in the receiving group besides Stephon Diggs with the Bills. I've said that before, and Stephon Diggs is getting locked up these past 3 weeks because they're just putting a bunch of attention on him, and they're putting one-on-one coverage with Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie, and those guys aren't good enough to really get it done, if I'm being honest with you. And Dawson Knox is the only one that's kind of showing up because he's more of a big body guy getting one-on-one coverage. So unless Stephon Diggs is going to have a Stephon Diggs type of game, I can see it being a difficult win for them. So
yeah, it's tough to bet against T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
It's tough, man. It's such a benefit to have 3 wide, because we're talking about the Bills not having a wide receiver 2. No disrespect. I'm being disrespectful. Little disrespectful. But I don't mean to be. Like, if I met you in person, I'd be very nice and very. Can I get a picture? But anyways, it's tough when you have 3 good receivers, which I think Tyler Boyd is
who?
For the Bengals.
Who?
3 wide receivers. Who? Did they not? Is Tyler Boyd out?
Who's Tyler Boyd? Where's Tyler Boyd been?
What are you talking about?
Didn't realize he was still playing.
Stop. That man is still no. He's a wide receiver 3. He's not going to always have the numbers.
I'm not asking him to always have the numbers. I just be forgetting he'd be playing sometimes.
I don't know where you. I didn't forget.
Yeah.
I don't forget. Because
the wide receiver 3 was Hayden Hurst.
I mean, Hayden Hurst is still pretty solid too. Don't be disrespectful.
Tyler Boyd's never gone missing.
He's a wide receiver 3. He can't always have good numbers.
He can have some numbers.
And he does.
I guess.
I have him in my fantasy league. He's definitely had some games.
I suppose.
He's had some games.
This man right here.
This man. But anyways.
I can't bet against the Chiefs. They went to 3 in a row. Was it 3 in a row? Yeah. And then got upset by, Kansas City?
Oh, KC got upset by Bengals.
They got upset by, my bad, they got upset by, the Bengals.
Yeah.
I feel like the
Bengals have the KC's number.
That's the thing, but I feel like they've changed their style a bit.
Have
you seen Pacheco run the ball?
It's good.
God. He's got some violence to him. They're a little bit rough now.
He's violent.
There's they have some grit to their team.
Well, they're gonna need that.
Exactly, they can just pound the ball with Pacheco. Bengals aren't a crazy run stopping team.
So you saying Pacheco's better than Joe Mixon?
But that's the thing though. I'm not asking him to be. He changes the dynamic of the team a bit.
Who has the better receiving group, Kansas City or?
That's not a question.
Who has the better running back group?
Yeah, that's not the question I'm offering up. Who has the all-time great quarterback?
I get that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. It's not like it's a far gap. It's not like it's a.
This is the thing. I think it's still a far gap. People are forgetting.
What?
I think it's still a far gap.
No, Joe Burrow is. Don't be putting no disrespect on Joe Burrow.
I think Patrick Mahomes is here.
No, I get you. I feel you. Joe Burrow is a generation. Not Joe Burrow. Patrick
when
Mahomes
I'm saying
is
a
a
far gap,
generational
I'm not saying
quarterback.
Joe Burrow is bad. I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is up here. Like, he is the guy in the league.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like,
He's
even
up
if
here.
you give me Patrick
Joe Burrow's
Mahomes,
right here. It's
if
not
you
like
give me
it's
Patrick
like
Mahomes and Josh Allen, I still think Patrick Mahomes is like up here. That's how I view him as like a talent.
Crazy. I mean, I get.
And I think like this year proves it too.
I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. But at the same time, I'm thinking about it from the aspect of you have a better wide receiver core, you have a better running back core, and you're not taking a huge downgrade on quarterback. You have a top 5 guy.
That's the thing. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying I can't bet against this man.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
at this point in
it's
time,
tough.
It feels like he got his reason to do it this year, last year. You know? All the question marks. They lost to the Bengals. Tyreek Hill had been talking this smack. Ooh, I wasn't getting enough targets in Kansas City. That's why I had to leave. Tua is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. He's the most accurate quarterback I've ever played with. I feel like he has that fuel, right? And he keeps finding ways to make it work with the receiving group he has. And now he has a run game that's a little bit formidable. You know, a guy who put his head down and gain you some yards, get you some tough first downs. And he's got a pass-catching running back that is catching the ball pretty well out of the backfield and is pretty electric. Right?
Yes.
So, like, I just feel like they're going to scheme something up. I feel like they're going to make their way back. We're going to have a repeat
that's one thing,
of the Niners-Kansas City Super Bowl.
And that's the thing that's kind of something you're forgetting. Not you're forgetting. I'm forgetting. Andy Reid's the head coach over there.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bengals have...
the worst play caller for a good team in the NFL. And Chris will back me on that.
I would say the worst.
That man does not know how to call offensive plays. Zach Taylor has been getting lucky off the talent. He has. This man does not call creative plays. This man is playing a playbook that's worse than Madden's, right? Chris says he's up in the stands sometimes calling what the next play will be. He's very one-dimensional on his play calling, and he doesn't get creative enough. And I feel like that's where he could get shown up against an Andy Reid playing him again in the playoffs.
The thing is like I can see that happening, and I can see Kansas City making it. I can see Buffalo making it.
Yeah,
I can see all these three teams. I just like what the Bengals have to offer, and they made it last year for a reason. They have KC's number. I like Joey B. I'm gonna ride with them for what did I say last week? The last time we talked about this, or was I just like kind of in the middle?
I think you were just in the middle.
Because I didn't have an answer, and I'm still not 100% confident with this answer. But I'm going with the Bengals. I have to pick somebody right now. I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
I'm going with the Chiefs, man, because I was leaning with the Bengals, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, bro, I don't feel like this man's gonna let it happen again. I gotta believe in the kid. The man's about to throw for 5,800 yards this year. It's like record-breaking numbers with receivers that aren't anywhere close to Hall of Fame talent. Joey B got a Hall of Fame duo, probably.
Well, it's kind of early.
I mean, it's early, but they're playing out of their mind.
I love T. Higgins, but we gotta still see some more time with him.
I mean, back-to-back. He's about to be on back-to-back 1,000-yard years.
Season.
Probably going to end up with like 89 catches this year after missing 4 games.
This year? He didn't miss a game. He missed 1 or 2.
He missed 4.
Did he?
4 or 3. He missed more than 2, I thought.
Hey,
I don't know. And Jamar Chase missed a good stint in there too.
He missed a significant amount of time, yeah.
Yeah, so
Tyler Boyd's missed some time as well.
Yeah, I just feel like
Joe Mixon's lost some time.
They have. I feel like the talent is obviously on Cincinnati's side. But I don't like betting on Zach Taylor. And I feel like you could get away with...
I'm not betting on Zach Taylor.
But at some point, that comes into effect.
I'm betting on Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Shiesty? Hey, man. I understand. I'm just...
So we're going to see a Bengals versus the Eagles Super Bowl.
And I got Niners KC right now.
Which one was the funner matchup?
For me personally, I would way prefer to see the Bengals versus the Eagles.
Same.
I would love to see both of them with the opportunity to win their first ring. Jalen or
And the thing is
Joe.
Favorite players in the league, Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow are in my top 5.
Yeah, are in your top 5.
So that'd be
I just think it would be exciting. And, I'd be good seeing that. But in the same breath, I would love to see Christian McCaffrey in the Super Bowl.
He deserves one.
That would be fun to see.
I would be okay with San Francisco winning the Super Bowl because it'd be cool to see Brock Purdy's story. It'd be cool. And I asked you this question earlier. You really think that if Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl this year, that San Francisco wouldn't have a quarterback problem that they have to figure out?
No.
If he won the Super Bowl and he plays well, like he doesn't, no, like he's done pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think they would have a Super Bowl. Like,
really?
No.
I think there's a question there.
I don't.
You haven't even seen what Trey Lance can do.
But you invested all the picks. You still have to see what he can do.
And you have Jimmy G. This guy just
Well, Jimmy G's gonna leave.
Well, okay, so he leaves. But I get what you're saying, but like, if
like
he wins a Super Bowl.
Jimmy G took them to a Super Bowl, and there were question marks. So, like, and he was the starter. He didn't have to step in for anybody. So, you know what I mean? Like, Colin Kaepernick took them to a Super Bowl.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and probably the smart answer is Trey Lance.
It's because of the system why there's still question marks, you know?
But even then, like, I don't care about the system. There still needs to be someone that can make it happen. It's the same thing with the Eagles. People will make that same case about Jalen Hurts, but you still need a guy that can make it happen. You can make it.
What do you mean make that same case about Jalen Hurts?
Some people say that it's the system, and Jalen Hurts is the system. Now, in San Francisco, Brock Purdy isn't the system, but he's
not the same. Carson Wentz was in that system, played well, started sucking. Nick Foles was in that system. They changed the coach, but Nick Foles, you questioned him, you changed the quarterbacking out.
Well, I'm just saying that's what people say. I don't believe that. I believe that it's Jalen Hurts makes the system work. Yeah. And if you have Brock Purdy doing very well for that back half of the season, win games to get to, he has to go to an NFC Championship game, which will probably be the Eagles or the Cowboys.
I'll put it this way.
And if he wins that, and then he goes in the Super Bowl, and if he beats a Kansas City...
Yeah, I'm going to put it this way. They're going to still test out what they have in Trey. They've invested too much. I don't think they let Brock Purdy go. I think Brock Purdy definitely gets elevated to backup.
He'd have to be backup.
Locked in. And what it does is lights a hot seat underneath Trey Lance. Which, if anything, that could really stunt his growth if he's not a dog. If he doesn't have that dog in him and is like, all right, yeah, y'all won the Super Bowl with me hurt, but, like, I'm still that guy. It could break his mental. If he has the guy behind him who's the Super Bowl winner, who everybody's going to love because he was a 7th-round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft. Like...
Where'd that nickname come from? It's just last pick of the draft is...
Yeah, because nobody's really paying attention to the draft anymore at that point. It's literally the last pick.
So that's the nickname for anybody that's last pick in the draft?
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant. They print it on a jersey every year and give it to the person who gets drafted last.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That must be...
They hold it up. It's hilarious. It says Mr. Irrelevant.
Must be kind of
pick
demoralizing.
272 or whatever it is, so yeah.
It's kind of demoralizing.
Shit. You know it's not demoralizing? Balling out on these fools when all 3 levels of your quarterback get hurt. And you have to come out there and...
Wait, so, like, do the guys look happy and excited when they get drafted, last pick of the draft? Or they go like...
Yeah, because you still get drafted. You know, a lot of these guys, that's their dream, is to at least say they were a draft pick. Many guys in the league don't get that opportunity. You have to go sign an undrafted contract or something. At least you got drafted. The team was willing to spend a pick on you. You know? Teams get 7 picks.
Then you get... Yeah, Trey's just Mr. Irrelevant. And do they have it for all 32 teams? No, they already know who the last pick of the draft is.
Yeah, unless like they traded. Well, they have a sweatshop type thing working in the back. Like
that's true.
They broke it down where there's people making the jerseys really fast, and
that's why they can actually. Well, okay, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, it would stunt Trey Lance's growth if he's not the dog that I think he is, which I think he is a dog. I think he'd take it as a badge of I need to show him why they gave up 3 first-round picks for me. But if you're not mentally strong, then yeah, Brock Purdy will take the job from him. But I guarantee you, in 2 years, they'd be like, quarterback that plays for Clemson's pretty good. See if we could go get that guy. Because every team has a cap. Brock Purdy's nice, but if you could change out Brock Purdy for somebody generational, you could change out an Alex Smith for a Patrick Mahomes.
You do it.
You got to do it. Even if you're good, even if you think you're set. If you could pivot and get a generational quarterback, you do that. You set your franchise up. So,
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I think that I get what you're saying, and you're probably right. Brock Purdy, but if he does and he wins the Super Bowl,
that's the thing. There's way less times where that guy turns into Tom Brady compared to like drifting off into like what's it called? Anonymity, where people kind of forget about him.
Yeah.
You know, there's more chances that happens than him to go on and be like a 7-time world champ. Like the it's razor thin. The margin.
I just feel like if you win the Super Bowl and you've earned that and you did so much, I feel like you've at least earned a spot. Or maybe even a team can come get you.
That's possible.
You know, I
people
think
have gotten grabbed for
that.
less. Matt Flynn got a crazy contract from Seattle for throwing for 500 yards in a game when he was backing up Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Don't even think he really got a chance to start more than 2 games in Seattle before Russell Wilson took his job. Right? So, like, what?
I don't even know who that is.
Really? See? Matt Flynn. If you go back and look at Russell Wilson's first year with the Seattle, he got drafted 4th round, I think it was. He just got picked up to be Matt Flynn's backup because they signed Matt Flynn to a big deal from Green Bay because he had like a couple big blow-up games as a backup in Green Bay. And he lost his job off the rip because they saw something in Russell Wilson that he wasn't really showing them. And rest is history. So like you said, people get opportunities for way less. So if he wins the Super Bowl...
That to me is like the peak of you've earned at least a spot somewhere.
Yeah. But to close it out, where do you put Brock Purdy? The Jets?
Well, the thing is, I would want to see the rest of the season because this all kind of comes down to how far can he go in the playoffs. Because if he goes to the first round of the playoffs and you lose, I could care less about Brock Purdy.
They're not going to restructure his contract, so...
Yeah. So to me, Jets could be an option because they probably don't have a pick to go get a quarterback.
I don't remember, but...
It could be a nice distributor.
Robert Saleh was in that coaching tree, so he could run an offense similar to the Niners. Yep. I would think Miami would be a fun spot for him to go be a backup because, again, Mike McDaniels was in that coaching tree and runs...
It doesn't mean... Just because you're a backup there doesn't mean that you will be a backup.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you go to Miami, your chance of being a backup, possibly taking that starting job, might get higher if they give you a bag, but... I don't know if he has the opportunity to leave on a bag yet. I don't know what a 7th-round pick's draft strat is, but
yeah, we'll see.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. So Bengals and Eagles.
Yep. As of what is it? Week 15.
Yeah.
Week 15.
Week 15 going into 16.
Yeah. So week 15 going into 16. I got Niners Chiefs until further notice. So.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like it could change. We'll see how these last 2 games are. We'll see how the first game of the playoffs.
Because trust me, if Mahomes dislocates his kneecap again or something crazy, my pick will change. That team cannot survive without Patrick Mahomes. It's not that type of team this year.
Yeah.
And of course, if we go from Brock Purdy to waiver wire QB next, because
who is backing up Brock Purdy?
Yeah, the Niners at this point have, I think it's Josh Johnson. They signed him from Denver. You don't know who that is, but he's been on like 12 NFL teams and played the XFL and the AFL. He's been all over the place. He threw for like 400 yards last year for the Jets too. He's been all over the place. But yeah, if we go down to that guy, I don't know if I can stick with the system anymore. So as of currently constructed, that's what we have set. So we'll get back to y'all on more contenders and pretenders or how things pan out in the future. But yeah, that's it for now. Until next time, peace.
Peace.